Brampton, Canada, is a busy city, but on a freezing December night, everything was quiet. This was the night the city would remember Arya Patel, a young woman who wanted a life so much faster than everyone else. Arya, 22, had arrived in Toronto as an international student from India, full of ambition and dazzling smiles. But she quickly learned that living in Canada was very, very expensive. Back home in Gujarat, her parents were struggling, drowning in loans to pay for her education. Arya felt a deep pressure to succeed quickly. She didn't just want to graduate, she wanted permanent residency, PR, the golden ticket that allowed her to stay and work forever. Her friend, Nisha Kapoor, a student who had been in Canada longer, offered a dangerous suggestion one afternoon. "You want PR fast?" Nisha whispered, looking around the coffee shop nervously. "Marry a citizen. It's business here. People do it all the time for papers. It's a quick fix." The idea settled in Arya's mind like a cold, exciting pebble. She didn't say no. Soon, Arya found her target, Kyle Thompson, a 26-year-old Canadian. Kyle wasn't bad, but he had a secret problem, a gambling addiction. He needed money desperately. The deal they struck was complicated, risky, and illegal. Kyle would marry Arya so she could apply for her papers. In exchange, Arya would pay him $35,000 CAD. They signed the papers. Arya played the role of the perfect, loving newlywed. She posted happy selfies with Kyle, opened a joint bank account, and even went to Sunday dinners at his parents' house, smiling sweetly. It was all a complete lie, but Kyle got greedy. 3 months into the fake marriage, Kyle ran out of money. He cornered Arya one afternoon in their shared small apartment. "I need the rest of the money now, Arya," he demanded. "Not later. I have debts." Arya's smile vanished. "Our deal was clear, Kyle. Half now, half after the sponsorship is approved. You haven't done your part yet." Kyle's face flushed with anger. "If you don't pay up, I'll report the marriage as fraud. You'll be deported. Everyone will know you're a criminal." Arya didn't flinch. Her smile came back, cold and calm. She wasn't scared. "If you report me, Kyle," she said softly, "you go to jail too. You signed the papers, you took the money. You are just as guilty." For the first time, Kyle realized the beautiful, ambitious girl wasn't just hustling, she was dangerous. She wasn't someone to be underestimated, she was a mastermind. Kyle wasn't the only one who saw Arya's dangerous side. Unknown to him, Arya had a secret, real lover. Rohan Malhotra, a fellow international student who promoted parties at nightclubs to earn money. Rohan wasn't a fan of Arya's illegal scheme. He loved her fire, but he hated her choice. "You're playing with fire, Ari," Rohan warned her constantly during their secret meetings. "Canadian law isn't a joke. You're going to get caught." But Arya didn't listen. She wanted a fast life, status, and freedom. And she was going to use any trick she could find. Their relationship became toxic, filled with jealousy and huge, shouting fights. But the dangerous excitement kept them together. But one illegal marriage wasn't enough for Arya. She wanted more money, faster. Secretly, she arranged a second fake marriage deal with a hard-working Punjabi truck driver named Harjit Singh. She used cleverly forged documents, telling Harjit that her first marriage was an old, failed arrangement that was being finalized. She was trying to run 2 illegal marriages at once. Rohan begged her to stop. "You're going to collapse the whole thing. You'll go to prison." But Arya was building an empire. Marriage scams, forged documents, and identity swaps for other students. She was focused only on the money, until Harjit Singh discovered her first husband. Harjit was a simple, honest man who was shocked by the depth of her betrayal. He confronted Arya in a furious rage, shouting about the fraud. Arya, the dangerous mastermind, just laughed in his face. She thought she was untouchable. 2 days after that confrontation, Kyle Thompson disappeared. Kyle's car was found abandoned at the edge of Lake Ontario, the door open, the keys still in the ignition. No body, no sign of struggle. Police questioned Arya immediately. She played the role of the innocent, heartbroken wife perfectly. "Kyle and I were drifting apart," she said calmly, offering a few fake tears. "I had no idea he was depressed or had a gambling problem. I'm worried sick." But the detectives noticed something disturbing. Her calmness, her flawless, perfectly practiced answers, her complete lack of worry. Suspicion grew, but there was no evidence. Kyle was simply a missing person. A month later, Arya started receiving strange, anonymous messages on her social media. "Pay what you owe. You destroy lives. Soon, you will know fear." She assumed the messages were from the enraged Harjit. Rohan pleaded with her to go to the police and confess the scams before it was too late. But Arya refused. She was terrified that a police investigation would expose her entire illegal network. She was playing chess with the law, but someone else, lurking in the shadows, was playing war. The body was found at 3:14 a.m. near a cold, dark industrial warehouse in Brampton. A snowplow driver saw something half buried in the freshly fallen snow and stopped. It was Arya Patel, unconscious, her elegant party dress ruined, and her face pale against the white snow. The police were called immediately. Arya wasn't dead, but she was severely injured and unresponsive, her condition critical. The lead investigator, Detective Maria Delgado, arrived quickly. Maria was known for being sharp, calm, and methodical. She treated every crime scene like a puzzle that only cold, hard facts could solve. The scene told a silent story. There were no footprints leading to or from the area, just the tracks of the snowplow driver. This meant Arya was carried there. Her purse and phone were missing. Beside her head, written clearly in bright, shocking red paint, not blood, was the message, "Your debt is due." Maria looked at the message and frowned. Debt? A team of forensic specialists worked through the dawn, carefully collecting every frozen piece of evidence. The primary discovery was the evidence of Arya's secret life. Multiple identities found in a hidden pocket inside her coat lining and 2 separate, incomplete marriage applications tucked away in her apartment safe. One for Kyle Thompson and a much newer one for Harjit Singh. Maria's suspicions immediately hardened. This wasn't a random attack. This was targeted. Arya was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, unable to speak or move. Maria began digging into Arya's life. She interviewed Nisha Kapoor, who admitted she had suggested the fake marriage hustle. Maria then moved on to the 2 men entangled in Arya's scam. Harjit Singh was found in his small apartment, furious and terrified. He confessed to Maria that he had only wanted his papers, but Arya had lied to him, taking his money while still being married to Kyle. "She was cheating the law and cheating me," Harjit shouted, tears of rage in his eyes. He admitted to sending angry messages, but swore he had only wanted his money back, not to hurt her. Maria then looked for the first husband, Kyle Thompson, the man who was supposed to be missing, possibly dead, in Lake Ontario. A missing person who was now a primary suspect in a major assault case. Maria realized Arya was not just a victim. She was a criminal who had put everyone, including the Canadian government, at risk. The web of lies was bigger than the snowplow driver could ever have imagined. Detective Maria Delgado brought Rohan Malhotra in for questioning. Rohan was hysterical, torn between loving Arya and hating her dangerous ambition. "Where were you the night Arya was found?" Maria asked, her voice steady. Rohan swore he was promoting a party in downtown Toronto, far from Brampton. But he confessed everything about their toxic, secret relationship and his desperate pleas for Arya to stop her fraud. "She was addicted to the hustle, detective," Rohan admitted, wiping his eyes. "She wanted the money and the status, no matter the cost. She laughed at people who followed the rules." Maria knew that Rohan's motive was rage and jealousy, fueled by Arya's constant risk-taking. Rohan was a suspect, but the crime scene felt colder, more calculated than a crime of passion. Maria focused on the message. "Your debt is due." She ordered a complete forensic audit of Arya's known bank accounts. Arya didn't have much money. Most of it had gone to paying for fake documents and lawyers. But Maria found something else. Large, regular payments going out to an unknown account, followed by even larger payments coming in from a financial service company. She wasn't just in debt to her parents, Maria realized. She was running a business she couldn't afford. Maria traced the financial service company. It wasn't a bank. It was a front for a ruthless loan shark, a man named Sunil, who funded high-risk, illegal schemes for desperate international students. Arya hadn't just asked Kyle and Harjeet for money, she had borrowed a massive sum from Sunil to pay for the first fake marriage, the forged documents, and her expensive lifestyle. She owed Sunil a huge, terrifying debt. Sunil was brought in for questioning. He was cold, professional, and denied any involvement in the assault. "Miss Patel owed me a lot of money, detective," Sunil stated calmly. "I sent her threats, yes, but I don't assault people myself. I hire people." Maria had three strong suspects. Rohan, the real lover, consumed by jealousy and rage over her betrayal. Harjeet, the victim of the second scam, furious about losing his money. Sunil, the loan shark, who was owed a huge, deadly debt. But none of them explained the professional planning, the missing phone, or the absence of footprints in the snow. Maria knew Arya's own greed had created a perfect storm of suspects. The key was the missing man, Kyle Thompson. If Kyle was truly dead, the case was simple. If he wasn't, then Arya's problems had just multiplied. Arya remained unresponsive in the hospital, unable to name her attacker. Detective Maria Delgado returned to the scene in Brampton. The snow was melting, but the police forensic team had captured everything. Maria studied the photographs of Arya's hands. The medical report confirmed what the photos showed. Arya's fingernails were broken, almost chipped, as if she had desperately scratched at a hard surface. If she was carried there, why were her fingers broken? Maria looked at the spot where Arya's head had rested, right beside the red paint message. The ground beneath the snow was frozen hard. Maria ordered the forensic team to carefully chip away the ice and examine the hardened soil underneath. The results were astonishing. There were faint, almost invisible imprints in the frozen ground near the message. They weren't from a struggle. They were from Arya's own hands. Arya had been placed there, unconscious, but before the red paint message was written, she had been semi-conscious for a moment, trying to leave a clue. She wasn't fighting her attacker. She was desperately trying to write a message back. Maria immediately started analyzing the faint impressions left by Arya's fingers in the soil. It wasn't a full word, but it looked like a crude attempt to draw a letter or a symbol. It looked like the letter K, followed by a rough drawing of a car. Maria's heart leaped. K car. This wasn't about the loan shark, Sunil, or the angry lover Rohan. This was about the first husband, the missing man, Kyle Thompson. Maria felt a surge of certainty. Kyle wasn't dead, he was hiding, and he was the one who had attacked Arya. But why was he leaving her debt messages? Maria linked the two missing pieces, Kyle and the loan shark, Sunil. Maria tracked down the location of the anonymous social media messages Arya had received, the ones saying, "Pay what you owe and you destroy lives." The messages were being sent from a pay-as-you-go burner phone, but the location pinged back to a series of cheap motels just outside Brampton. Maria now knew the chilling connection. Kyle wasn't just a victim of Arya's scam. He was working with the loan shark, Sunil. Maria realized that Kyle hadn't disappeared. He had faked his death to escape his own gambling debts and to turn Arya's attention onto her own fear. Kyle was now working with Sunil to get his money back, and he was taking revenge on the woman who had played him for a fool. Detective Maria Delgado had a new mission: find the missing man's car, the one Arya had desperately tried to draw in the snow. Maria knew Kyle Thompson was obsessed with his silver sedan. It was the only thing of value he owned that he hadn't gambled away. Maria put out an immediate warrant for a silver sedan, specifically registered to Kyle Thompson, focusing on the cheap motels outside Brampton where the debt messages had originated. While the search was underway, Maria reviewed the most crucial evidence: the CCTV footage from the South Asian student party Arya had attended the night she was found. The party was loud and dark, but the camera covering the back exit was clear enough. The footage showed Arya stepping outside around midnight, wearing her elegant dress, holding her phone to her ear. Maria zoomed in on the moment Arya was about to walk around the corner of the building. It was Kyle Thompson. He wasn't covered in mud or looking like a grieving, suicidal man. He was alive, smiling, and holding her hand as they walked out of the frame together. He had shaved his beard and looked thinner, but Maria was certain of the identification. Kyle wasn't dead. He was actively stalking Arya. Maria felt a cold wave of realization wash over her. Kyle had faked his disappearance to escape the police, evade his own creditors, and now to take revenge on Arya. The missing car found at Lake Ontario was a piece of carefully staged theater. Maria immediately contacted Sunil, the loan shark. "I have footage of Kyle Thompson alive at the Brampton party," Maria stated. "He is not missing. He is working for you, delivering your debt threats to Arya." Sunil was cornered. He confessed everything. "Yes, Kyle came to me after Arya refused to pay. He needed help to disappear from his own debts. I helped him stage the car at the lake, and in return, he agreed to scare Arya into paying the money she owed me." Sunil led Maria to a hidden, dusty garage where Kyle was secretly fixing up a different battered vehicle he was using to hide his identity. Maria raced to the location, the final pieces of the puzzle clicking into place. She wasn't dealing with a crime of passion or a simple debt collection. She was dealing with a carefully plotted, vengeful attack by a man who had felt completely fooled and destroyed by Arya. Detective Maria Delgado, along with a tactical team, stormed the hidden garage. They found Kyle Thompson inside, covered in grease and dust, fixing a broken engine. He looked nothing like the smiling fake newlywed from the selfies. He looked thin, angry, and utterly defeated. Kyle didn't resist arrest. He knew the game was over the moment he saw Maria's calm, stern face. In the interrogation room, Kyle confessed immediately, his voice flat and weary. "Arya ruined my life, detective. Kyle said. She promised me money, but she took my dignity. She made me betray my family, and then she laughed in my face when I asked for the rest of my payment. Kyle confirmed he had been working with Sunil, living in cheap motels, and leaving the anonymous, threatening debt messages for Arya. The night of the party, Kyle had confronted Arya one last time. He approached her, holding the canister of red paint he used for his maintenance work. The paint he intended to use to write one last threatening message on the mansion's wall. "I just wanted the money, Arya," Kyle had pleaded. "I wanted to start over." But Arya, always the mastermind, had laughed at him. "You're a desperate, stupid gambler, Kyle. You already signed your life away. You can't touch me." Kyle snapped. He admitted to striking her in a blind rage, knocking her unconscious and dragging her body to the abandoned warehouse. He used the red paint to write the message and then threw her phone into a dumpster to make it look like a robbery. He denied intentionally killing her, claiming he only meant to leave her lying there as a final, terrifying punishment. Maria then showed Kyle the forensic photographs of Arya's broken fingernails and the faint K drawn in the frozen ground. "She wasn't dead, Kyle," Maria said softly. "She was conscious just long enough to tell us it was Kyle." Kyle broke down completely, realizing the full weight of his crime. He was charged with aggravated assault and kidnapping. The case seemed open and shut. A desperate man, seeking revenge on the woman who destroyed him, attacks her and leaves a message about debt. But Detective Maria Delgado felt a nagging suspicion. Why had Arya's attacker gone to the trouble of staging the scene and covering their tracks so perfectly? When the detectives searched Kyle's last motel room, they found something he had taken from Arya's purse that night. Not money, but a small, unremarkable, leather-bound notebook. Maria opened the notebook. It wasn't a diary, it was a ledger. The pages were filled with coded initials, dates, and large sums of money. This was Arya's secret criminal record. KT, 35K, complete closed. Kyle Thompson, HS, 40K, partial, pending. Harjit Singh. The list continued down the page, with 5 more names: AK, 50K, ID swap, paid, RP, 60K, PR bypass, pending. Maria also found coded instructions on how to set up dummy corporations and how to transfer money through offshore accounts. Arya's greed was far deeper than anyone, Kyle, Rohan, or Harjit had ever realized. The threat on her life wasn't just about the $35,000 she owed Kyle, it was about the millions in illegal transactions she was controlling and the secrets of the entire operation she knew. The message, "Your debt is due," wasn't just about Kyle or Sunil. It was about Arya's debt to the law, to the truth, and to the lives she had used and betrayed. Maria now had to wait for Arya to wake up, not to hear the story of a victim, but to face a list of criminal charges far worse than the assault. Weeks later, Arya Patel woke up in the hospital. She was weak but stable. Detective Maria Delgado was the first person to greet her. Arya tried to play the role of the victim one last time. "Detective, Kyle attacked me. I'm the victim here. I want him punished." Maria gently slid the small, leather-bound notebook onto the white hospital tray. "We know everything, Arya," Maria said, her voice calm and firm. "We know about Kyle, Harjit, Sunil, the stage disappearance, and the assault. But we also know about AK, RP, SJ, and the other 4 people in your ledger. We know about the identity swaps and the PR bypass schemes. This notebook tells us you were running a multi-million-dollar immigration fraud network." Arya's beautiful practiced composure shattered, her eyes filled with ambition and fire now filled with tears of pure defeat. The mastermind had been exposed, not by her attacker, but by her own meticulous record-keeping. Arya confessed everything. Her burning desire for a quick, luxurious life led her to betray everyone: her parents, who were drowning in legal debt; Kyle, who she used and tossed aside; and Rohan, who she risked by involving him in her lies. She had built her illegal empire on the belief that rules were for losers. Now the law she tried to bypass was finally catching up. Arya Patel was arrested in her hospital bed. The charges were severe: immigration fraud, conspiracy, forgery, and identity theft. The arrests shocked the community in Brampton. Kyle Thompson pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and kidnapping. He admitted that his gambling addiction led him to a bad choice, but Arya's betrayal drove him to a criminal act of revenge. He went to prison, paying the price for his rage and his earlier lies. Harjit Singh and Rohan Malhotra were both cleared of all charges relating to Arya's attack. They had been victims of her scams and were now cooperating with the police, revealing all the secrets of Arya's illegal operation. Sunil, the loan shark, was arrested and charged with illegal lending and conspiracy to commit fraud. His financial network, funded by desperate students like Arya, was shut down, and Arya Patel, the ambitious international student, was sent to a Canadian prison. Her dream of luxury, status, and freedom was crushed entirely. Detective Maria Delgado closed the case, but she didn't see it as a simple criminal victory. She saw it as a sad lesson about the price of greed. Arya had chased the quick fix and the easy way out. She thought she could outsmart the law and use people like pieces on a chessboard, but her lies created a deadly, complex web that eventually collapsed on her. Maria looked at the notebook, the mastermind's ledger. It contained nothing but numbers and codes, with no mention of love, friendship, or honesty. It was a cold, hard record of her ruined life. Maria knew that Arya's true punishment wasn't just the prison sentence, it was the realization that she had destroyed everything she worked for, and she had hurt the people who cared about her most. Years later, people in Brampton still talked about the night Arya Patel was found in the snow. Detective Maria Delgado used Arya's case to train new recruits. Arya Patel wasn't killed by a stranger, she would tell them. She was attacked by the consequences of her own lies. She was a criminal who created her own victim. Maria explained that the debt wasn't just money. The message, "Your debt is due," was a warning that the moral debt Arya owed to the law and to the people she manipulated had finally caught up with her. Arya's notebook was used to help shut down the entire illegal immigration scheme she had helped organize, saving many other students from falling into the same trap. The lesson of Arya's story resonated across the country. The path to success should be built on hard work and honesty, not on illegal shortcuts and betrayal. Arya had been ambitious, yes, but her ambition was poisoned by pure greed. In the end, Arya Patel was both a victim of a crime and a perpetrator of a much larger one. She had sought the glitter and the status of a perfect life, but she ended up losing her freedom, her future, and the respect of her community. The story of the ambitious girl from India who became a criminal mastermind served as a permanent reminder in Brampton that the cost of a quick fix is always higher than the price of simply doing things the right, honest way. Arya's debt was truly due, and the price was everything.